Hello, YouTube divers. This is WaterDive 122, and I am back with another edition of Bands of the Alphabet. Last time we took a look at my favorite band that started with the letter K, and today we are going to be talking about my favorite band that starts with the letter L. Well, it's kind of obvious who is my favorite band that starts with the letter L, and that is the band Led Zeppelin. Now, Led Zeppelin was just outside of my top 10 bands of all time. They were like at number 11. They were that close. Um, Everyone knows who Led Zeppelin is. They're freaking amazing. Um, all their albums, pretty much all their albums are great. But my favorite Led Zeppelin album is, of course, Led Zeppelin 4 from 1971. It's everyone's favorite Led Zeppelin album, I guess. I might do a album ranking of Led Zeppelin on Magic Metal Monday soon. Who knows? And my favorite song by Led Zeppelin is, of course, "Stairway to Heaven." Although if you've seen past reviews of this album, Led Zeppelin 4, you would know it's one of my top 10 favorite albums of all time. And it also took the Album of the Year from 1971. Now, "Stairway to Heaven" is my favorite Led Zeppelin song. Although "Battle Forevermore" comes at a close second, for me at least. I know a lot of people don't really like that song, but that doesn't make any sense to me. It's a highly underrated song. To me, it's one of the great, great songs off of this album. And also, "When the Levee Breaks" was also a very, very close second. It almost took my favorite Led Zeppelin song. It's actually a tie between it and "Stairway to Heaven," but I kind of prefer "Stairway to Heaven" a little bit more. In the early days when I was listening to Led Zeppelin, I would have definitely given it to "When the Levee Breaks," but now I've listened to "Stairway to Heaven" so many times that, I've grown to absolutely love that song. Now, the lineup on this album is, of course, the classic Led Zeppelin lineup with Robert Plant on vocals, Jimmy Page on guitar, the legendary Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones on bass, and the late John Bonham on drums. Freaking strong lineup. Some of the biggest names in rock and metal. Well, some of the biggest names in rock, for that matter. Now, overall, Led Zeppelin easily takes the letter L spot because, come on, it's freaking Led Zeppelin. Everyone knows them. Everyone loves them. If you don't like Led Zeppelin, then, well, suit yourself. But still, they are a 10 out of 10 band without a freaking doubt. And when it comes to the honorable mentions, I have two bands and a solo artist, so let's get into them. So the first honorable mention that I have goes to Lynyrd Skynyrd. Yeah, those southern rock band legends. I guess a lot of people would also put Lynyrd Skynyrd at their favorite band that starts with the letter L. But for me, it's just a little bit short because, I know Led Zeppelin a lot more than I do Lynyrd Skynyrd. But Lynyrd Skynyrd does have some great songs. "Sweet Home Alabama" is my favorite Skynyrd song. "Free Bird" is also great. "Free as a Bird," I believe that's the name of the song. Also great. Definitely my favorite southern rock band of all time. And they're freaking amazing, as many people know. Then we have Lamb of God. Lamb of God. They're a heavy metal band that they kind of use growls. I wouldn't really say that they're death metal, but they're not. But when it comes to vocals, they're not really that melodic. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe Lamb of God, or at least this type of style that they're in, because really, there are not a lot of metal bands that are doing what Lamb of God is doing, in my opinion. Lamb of God is doing like this thrash, death, like they're on the line between thrash metal and death metal, and maybe even traditional heavy metal. But like I said, Lamb of God, a little bit hard to kind of explain what they do. And now the solo artist on here is of course Lindsey Buckingham of Fleetwood Mac. Um, well, of course his solo stuff, not anything regarding Fleetwood Mac. If you want more on his, if you want more of my opinion on his Fleetwood Mac stuff, I did a video on Fleetwood Mac on Bands of the Alphabet. You can go check that out. I talk a little bit more about it there. Lindsey Buckingham basically kickstarted his solo career after he was thrown out of the band in the 2000s, either in the 80s, 90s, or 2000s. I can't really remember at this point, but apparently he and Stevie Nicks got into like a feud, and Lindsey and Buckingham was fired from the band, and he started his solo career, and it's freaking amazing. He's got a lot of cool solo stuff from his days. I remember listening to a solo song from Lindsey Buckingham. I can't really remember what it was called, but he was doing this. He was doing it on a TV show where I heard that interview from, and it was freaking amazing. Love that track. Sorry, I can't remember what it was, but it's a really good song. You can let me know down in the comment section below if you so greatly desire to do so. And so yeah, with that said, that concludes this edition of Bands of the Alphabet. Led Zeppelin takes my favorite band that starts with the letter L. And tune in next time for my favorite band that starts with the letter M. Ooh, that is going to be a fun one. Can't wait for that. So stay in tune for that, my fellow YouTube divers. And like I always say, thank you so much for watching, my fellow YouTube divers. This is WaterDive122 signing out, ready to dive into more fun on YouTube. Thanks for watching.